Hello, Digital Dragons, and welcome to the first issue of the Dragon Debrief. On this issue of the Dragon Debrief, we will be covering beginning of the year task and beginning of the year information. So stay tuned and make sure to follow along. First and foremost, I wanted to provide you all with your school calendar. All of your homeroom teachers should be providing this to you within the first week of school or so if you have not already received it. Also, I know during this time of year it is extremely hectic. We are getting a lot of new students rolling in, and so oftentimes there's questions revolving around missing materials. So if you do notice that you are having missing materials, please reach out to your homeroom teacher as they are your first point of contact, and pretty much let them know. They should be able to provide you with the tracking number as long as the shipment has already been created. Also, if you are experiencing laptop issues, make sure that you are letting your homeroom teacher know, as well as also make sure that you are contacting that number below at 1-866-512-2273, as they are the student IT person that you should be able to reach out to. So there's our calendar. Moving on to our new bell schedule. So as some of you may have already been aware, we did decide to change our bell schedule from a 7-period day to a 6-period day. And the main reason for this was to accommodate our new I Learn checkpoints, which I will cover in a little bit. But essentially, it's a way for us to provide you more time to administer this required test from the state. Now, keep in mind that this schedule is still extremely flexible. You're going to have various times to where, you'll have English and math one day, maybe science and social studies the next, but it's not going to consist of you having a live session every day at this time. These are just the set time limits of when each period does occur. So make sure to keep a lookout for your schedule on your new Canvas link, and again, your teachers will be able to provide you with more information on day one. Also, so homeroom will be required for all students this year, including flex students. So even if you are on the flex schedule to where you are doing more asynchronous learning, you will still be required to attend your homeroom class. And the main reason for that is, again, to make sure that we are completing our iLearn checkpoints, which the state does require us to administer to all of you. So it's just something to keep in mind. But there's the bell schedule, and I will also make sure to send this PowerPoint along to make sure all of you have access to it as well. So I bet you're all wondering, what are we doing on the first day of school? So we do have a set plan for each essential content area in terms of what the tasks will be covering for day one this Thursday, as well as day two this Friday. And so essentially what's going to happen is during your English language arts class, the majority of you will be working on getting your iLearn contracts and also downloading your secure browser to make sure that you can take that iLearn checkpoint. Again, I will be covering this later, but it is vital that we get every student to download their browser, as well as every learning coach / parent to sign their permission form so they can take this assessment. For math, you will be focusing on progress learning access, as well as basic expectations. So essentially, progress learning is just another tool that we use to kind of provide remediation, or essentially additional help to each student to make sure that they're staying on track. In social studies, you will be covering those Microsoft basics, so essentially Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, anything that you may be using. More times than not, it's generally just Microsoft Word, but we will be covering that in social studies. For science, we will be providing a Canvas overview. So as some of you may have heard, Stride K-12 has decided to change our online learning system, which used to be known as TotalView. It is now known as Canvas, which I know a lot of schools over the state of Indiana do use Canvas, but we did decide to transition to Canvas as our new online learning platform. So in science, we will be providing you with an overview of how to use everything, as well as everything else. Also, you'll see that the link in here should provide you access to get into Canvas, and then your username and password will be the same thing that you have used all along. If you are a new student, you should have set this up whenever you enrolled, or whenever your parent enrolled you, or learning coach. Make sure, and I can't stress this enough, you are checking your emails. Each one of your teachers should have sent you a welcome email with general instructions of how to operate or navigate your homepage for each course. And again, we will provide you with additional assistance in that science class, but make sure you are checking your emails daily to stay up to date on what exactly are the expectations for each of you. Another instance that I really wanted to bring to each of your attentions is obviously with the new platform, there's going to be some struggles. So I ask that all of you, provide grace to our teachers and staff as we are working on improving this system to meet the needs of all of our students here. So please, we may not know the answer to everything, but we are working through it. So please just provide us with some additional grace during this time as we work through everything in terms of this new system. So electives then, you will be focusing on Engagely Helpful Reminders. So Engagely is the platform we use for live Class Connect sessions. So when you're actually in class with a teacher. And then not only that, we will be providing some fun engagement activities for all of you, but do expect for both Thursday and Friday to have a full schedule on your calendar simply because we have to get through the variety of these things. Starting next week on the 11th, your schedules will fluctuate more towards like that college schedule to where it's not all day every day, but you will have some live classes and some asynchronous work to work on. Other than that, moving on. The big one, iLearn checkpoints. So iLearn checkpoints is essentially something that the state has decided that every school in the state of Indiana has to complete. So a lot of you are probably familiar with the iLearn that we take at the very end of the year that essentially just assesses or tests how well a student does over the span of a year within a school. So the IDOE, or Indiana Department of Education, essentially wants us to provide 3 checkpoints during the course of the year and then a 4th test that is actually in person. So during each one of these checkpoints, you will be required to take both a math and English test, multiple choice test, which will be administered in your homeroom. And again, this is why it's vital that every student is attending their homeroom every single day, or at least until you complete both of those tests. So 2 things that you all need to focus on in terms of being prepared are your lockdown browser. So in order for each student to be able to take this iLearn checkpoint test, they have to have their lockdown browser installed on their computer. We are trying to figure out a way to have IT kind of push it out to a large number of students. However, we did have some difficulties with it last year. So we are trying to, get ahead of the curve and go ahead and have students do this on their own. Again, we will focus on this within the first 2 days, as well as focus on this during homeroom next week. The other big thing is that all students are required to have a consent form on file in order to participate in the iLearn checkpoints. What our original plan is there is a link below that each learning coach or parent should be able to fill out to essentially give us permission. If you are a new student, you shouldn't have to worry about it because of the fact that it was a required question that all of you had to answer prior to enrolling. So if you are a returning student, your learning coach or parent will need to sign this form, or they will need to send an email or a text message to your homeroom teacher stating that you do give us permission to essentially administer this test. The plan is we are going to wait a couple weeks into the school year to see who has signed it and who hasn't. If by week 3, a decent amount of students, parents, or learning coaches have not completed this request or permission form, then essentially we will result to locking curriculums, preventing you from gaining access to certain materials until we receive that consent form. Because per our student handbook, all students are required to attend and participate in all required testing. So something to keep in mind. So just get it out and ready. Go ahead and make sure to download that lockdown browser as well as fill out those consent forms. Any questions, please go ahead and reach out to your homeroom teacher. Scheduling updates. So another big thing with us moving over to Canvas is we are getting used to the new scheduling system. We believe that we have all students already in their schedules for at least those starting on Thursday, August 7th. And then obviously working through all new starts every Thursday as we get new enrollment in. But even with all students being in courses, some changes are definitely going to be made. So our counselors, Mrs. Andrus as well as Mrs. Wilson, will be sending out a course request form for any elective changes that you may want to switch to, as well as for any students interested in being in the Flex program. So the last day actually to request a change, actually that date is wrong. The last day to request an elective change is about a week after your enrollment date. So it would be Friday, the 15th. So if you start on the 7th, then your last day to request an elective change would be August 15th. Please email Mrs. Andrus or Mrs. Wilson with any questions that you may have. Other than that, a survey will be sent to all of you shortly. Lastly, your administration team. So for any questions or anything else that you may have, these are the people that you need to reach out to for anything that your homeroom teacher cannot assist you with. I am Mr. Payne, the middle school principal over here at good old Indiana Gateway Digital Academy, home of the Digital Dragons. We also have Mrs. Wilson, one of our counselors, as well as Mrs. Andrus, the other counselor, and we are currently working on hiring an additional counselor, which I will provide the information to you all once we get that individual hired. We also have 3 instructional coaches per grade level. We have Mrs. Clifton, who was our 6th grade instructional coach, Mrs. Anderson, who was our 7th grade instructional coach, and Mrs. Dion, who is our 8th grade instructional coach. As always, your main point of contact is that homeroom teacher, which you will see the link for the middle school staff directory down there to see exactly what the contact information is for each one of those homeroom teachers. But other than that, let's go ahead and have an amazing first 2 days of school. I can't wait to see all y'all on the Thursday. Other than that, go Digital Dragons and let them